This is Perfectly Wonderful Stories for Perfectly Wonderful Children, and you're very welcome. This is one of my son's favourites called The Surprising Easter Egg, and I'd like to read it for you. Anna was going to a party. She was all ready. She had on her new pink silk dress, a ribbon round her hair, her shoes in a bag, and a clean handkerchief in her pocket. She felt so excited, for she loved parties almost better than anything else. "Now it's time for you to get started," said Mother. "Goodbye, Anna. Have a lovely time, and remember to say thank you very much to Mrs. Jones when you leave." "I won't forget," said Anna happily. She ran down the garden path and out into the lane. What fun it was to be going to a party. Little Louise Jones's birthday fell in Easter week this year, and it was going to be a lovely party, with an Easter egg for everyone to take home. Anna felt very happy. She skipped down the lane past Mrs. White's house. Anna always stopped and looked over the gate at Mrs. White's because she had two lovely Persian cats, blue-grey, with great orange eyes and long, thick fur. Anna loved all animals, and wasn't it a pity she had no pet of her own at all? Oh, no dog, no cat, not even a goldfish lived at Anna's house. No one had thought of letting her have a pet. Anna's mother was not very fond of animals, so she didn't bother about them. Anna looked over Mrs. White's gate, hoping to see one of the lovely Persian cats somewhere in the garden. They loved Anna, and always came running to her to be stroked. Anna knew that they had 6 little kittens just now, and she longed to see them. But Mrs. White was rather a grand sort of lady, and Anna didn't like to ask if she might go and see the kittens. There were no cats in the garden at all, so Anna went on her way down the lane thinking of the party and wondering if there would be red or yellow jelly, which she would choose. Halfway down the lane she passed an old tumble-down barn, and she went by it she heard a noise that made her stop in surprise. It was the mewing of cats. Meow, meow, meow. Now what could they be mewing for at the barn? Anna stopped and looked round. She saw a curious sight. One of Mrs. White's Persian cats was coming slowly under the hedge, and in its mouth it carried one of its kittens. It was holding the kitten by the skin of its neck, as cats do. Anna was so surprised. She watched the cat slip by the hedge, make its way through the wet field, and disappear into the old barn. The mewing still went on. Meow, 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 meow. Anna couldn't understand it. Mrs. White's cat must have taken all her kittens into the barn, she thought. What a dreadful place to keep them, so damp and cold and dirty. Poor little things. Anna found a hole in the hedge and squeezed through it. She went into the barn and peeped in. It was dark, and at first she could hardly see anything. Then she discovered where the kittens were. The mother cat had climbed up a plank and had put all her 6 kittens, one by one, on a shelf in the barn. There was a hole in the barn wall just there, and the wind came in. Whoosh! The kittens were cold and frightened. One crawled about the shelf, and then, to Anna's horror, it fell over the edge, bounced on the plank, and rolled onto the ground. It didn't seem to be hurt, but Anna was worried. Suppose they all fell off. Silly mother cat to put her kittens there. Oh dear, I shall be late for the party, thought Anna. And I've got my best dress on. Whatever am I to do? I simply can't leave those kittens there. She looked around for a ladder, and there was an old one at the end of the barn. Anna dragged it across and put it up against the wall, and she went up it and reached the shelf where the kittens were. There were 5 there, and one on the floor. The mother cat was there too, and she purred when she saw Anna. Anna took hold of the kitten and carried it down the ladder. Then she went up again, and before long all 6 kittens were safely on the ground. Then the little girl found an old basket without a handle. She carefully put the kittens into it, and with the mother cat trotting beside her, she went out of the barn and back to Mrs. White's house. How delighted Mrs. White was to have her kittens back safe and sound. She was hunting for them everywhere. A dog came into the house and frightened the mother cat, she told Anna. So suppose she thought she had better take her kittens somewhere else. They would have all caught a cold in that draughty barn. It is good of you to take so much trouble, Anna. I love all animals, said Anna, especially kittens. I'd love to have a pet of my own. Oh dear, look at my party dress. It's all dirty, and I've torn it. I can't go to the party, I'm afraid. Oh, I am sorry, said Mrs. White. Can't you go home and put another dress on? I've only got my school dress besides this, said Anna. It doesn't matter. I don't mind missing the party, and I've rescued your kitten family. I do love them so much. So Anna missed the party, for she didn't want to go in her old school dress, or her dirty, tatty one. She was very sad about it, and Mother was very sorry for her. Mrs. White had told Mother how kind Anna had been, so she understood all about it. Never mind, darling. You shall have an Easter egg, though, said Mother, so Anna looked forward to that. She wondered if it would be a chocolate one. She did like chocolate very much. There was a chocolate egg for her, and another egg too. A most surprising Easter egg. Mother brought it into the dining room with such a funny smile on her face. It was an enormous cardboard egg, red, yellow and blue, and it made a noise. It really did. And what sort of noise do you think it made? Guess? It mewed. Meow, meow, went the egg. Anna gave a scream of excitement. Oh! And split the egg in half. And out jumped the dearest, prettiest little Persian kitten you've ever seen. It was one that Anna had rescued from the barn that week. Mrs. White said you were just the right person to have one of her kittens, said Mother. Do you like your Easter egg, Anna? Mother, it's the loveliest in the whole world, cried Anna. Oh, I don't mind missing the party if I have a kitten of my own. I'm so happy. Wasn't it a surprising Easter egg? I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you tomorrow.